President Biden and Democrats face a big test in just over a week when Virginia voters will choose between former Governor Terry McAuliffe and businessman Glen Youngkin in a closely watched governor's race. One recent poll shows the contest is extremely close, with the candidates running truly neck and neck. In last year's presidential election, Mr. Biden won the state by 10 percentage points. Pretty good margin there. Ed O'Keefe spoke with both candidates and is in Northern Virginia for us this morning. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. This is arguably the biggest political contest of the year, and what happens here in Virginia is often much more influenced by national politics than other states, in part because usually this state rejects the party that won the White House the year before. So as you said, the president won big here last year, but our most recent poll of Virginia voters finds likely voters more disapprove of how the president's doing than approve. Vice President Kamala Harris campaigning last night for Terry McAuliffe, giving a statewide race even more national attention.
I want this man to be elected the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
She's just the latest big-name Democrat to campaign for McAuliffe in an effort to motivate Democratic voters as the party's agenda stalls. Are you in a tight race because of what's going on in Washington with the president and congressional Democrats?
Listen, I think this election is about what's happening here in Virginia. I do think, Ed, in fairness, people want to see action up in Washington.
While Virginia's voted Democratic in recent presidential elections, President Biden's big win last year came with a divisive name on the ballot. McAuliffe's trying something many other Democrats are expected to do in elections next year, linking his opponent to former President Trump.
Glen Youngkin is not a reasonable Republican. He is a Trump acolyte.
Would it be helpful if former President Trump came to campaign for you?
Nobody's coming to campaign with me.
Trump has endorsed Youngkin, but to stay competitive in the closing stretch, the candidate is keeping his distance.
But I am campaigning for me, not like my opponent, who is bringing anybody he can into Virginia because he knows that his campaign is sinking.
And he's found traction by emphasizing something else.
We will teach history, but I will ban critical race theory.
Youngkin's keeping his focus on parental involvement in education and controversial concepts like critical race theory.
No wonder Terry wants parents out of it, and he wants to insert government between parents and their children.
That focus resonates with voters like Juliet Schweiter.
Enough is enough. It's time that parents take it back, take control back of their schools.
McAuliffe dismissed the issue as made up.
Critical race theory has never been taught in Virginia. This is a racist dog whistle.
Will it be in the future?
No.
Some of the voters we spoke with had a hard time defining what exactly is critical race theory. Seems it means different things to Republican voters than those on the left. But it is helping the Republican Glen Youngkin, which is part of the reason why Terry McAuliffe's bringing out the big guns. Former President Barack Obama will campaign for him Saturday in Richmond, and the President and First Lady are expected on this side of the Potomac River again next week. Tony?
Yeah, Democrats want to hold on to what they can. Ed, while we're on the topic of President Biden and the future for the Democrats, his agenda is on the line in these weeks ahead, and he made some headlines at a town hall in Baltimore last night about what he might be willing to do. What did we learn?
That's right. He made a bunch of headlines last night saying that he believes a deal is closer than ever on his social spending plan, but also went into great detail about the ongoing negotiations, especially with those moderate senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, saying that he takes issue with the president's climate change proposals. She has issues with potential tax hikes, and that's what's slowing down the talks. He also went further than he's gone ever before on the Senate's infamous filibuster, saying he'd be open to doing away with it in order to get new voting rights legislation passed. And on foreign policy, Mr. Biden said the U.S. would defend Taiwan if China were to attack the island. But the White House had to walk that back, saying that while the U.S. has a defense agreement with Taiwan, there has been no formal change in policy. Tony?
Yeah, the president saying certain things are sacred, and that's why he would consider filibuster reform. Ed, thank you very much.